Hello, my name is Peter Emmanuel Gugi. I'm the founder at NUELA'S group that hosts NUELA'S Closet and NUELA'S Fashion School. I'm a golfer. I'm also passionate about leadership and politics. And this is my story. I was born in the city of Mombasa, down the coast of Kenya, at a place known as Ganjoni. I was born in a family of three. I happen to be the third one. I have two sisters, and despite being the third one, I end up being the elder brother still. I then later joined primary school known as Broadway's Junior Academy. And one person I'd mention is a notable figure is Madam Mariam. She really helped nurture us to the kind of men and women who we became. I only shifted two schools during my primary levels. I wasn't quite a disturbing kid. I was a calm and collected kid. So from Broadway's Junior Academy, we went to Broadlight Junior Academy. Funny thing, what happened is probably the whole class shifted to Broadlight. When our teacher then, Madam Mariam, shifted to the school, all of us shifted to the new school. From the memory I have, most of our classmates also moved. It's because there is an impact, especially at early childhood, that a teacher has towards children, towards their behavior, towards their level of self-esteem, their confidence, because there's a way they have a direct impact and touch a kid. And I think that's what led to almost our whole class shifting, because the only reason I would actually remember her was how close she was to us, loving yet so strict. I even remember her kids were in the same school we were in, and there's a way she'll just nurture us to become just a thin line between loving and strictness, which nowadays I think is lacking, because she really was a disciplinarian despite her loving us and handling us with care. I really do want to get in touch with her once. Now that we've had this interview, I really will get to our WhatsApp group and discuss about her and see how we can get in touch with her. So who your kids have at a tender age is very, very critical. One notable thing I can remember is we happened to grow together, the same class we were in. All of us came together and finished our class 8 level, so we are still in touch. It was in 2022 that we formed a WhatsApp group. Thank God for technology, for former primary mates, and it's interesting to see some of them are within the country, some in South Africa, some in different states and some are newlyweds. And basically, that's it about my childhood. What else might be interesting? Oh, I also happened to have served in school as they used to call it head boy, yes? Yes. So I was the head boy of Broadlight Junior Academy, happened to be the assistant head boy in class 7 and then head boy in class 8. The head girl the year before us was one called Brenda Shio, and she also happened to have topped, is it the county? Yes, the county we were in then. And now there was pressure on us to also do the same this time. We used to appear in newspapers and things like that when one would pass the examinations. So our time came. I remember in our year, the one who was leading had 430 marks nationally. And I happened to score 399, that was 399 marks. Some short less to appear in the newspapers, and it was so stressing to me. So to my parents, they were so excited. I remember at a point I was telling my dad I'd like to go retake. That is, do the exams again. Thank God I didn't do that, because they told me, nope, we are going to proceed. For them now, I see what they saw. They saw those were very good marks, And I got some calling letters from various schools. One was Kwale High School. Kwale High School is still based down the coast region. And I was really, really, no offense, but I was really against studying alongside the coast then. And I told Dad I have no interest in going to Kwale High School. I wanted to go to Sere Boys Center, because even before prior, when I was in my class 8, they will ask for my marks, my mocks results will go to Sere. before the national examination. So my mind was mentally prepared to join the Stereo Boys Center, which I really insisted, and I thank God what my dad did, because now what he did was he tagged me along all the way from Mombasa to Nairobi, and he told me, "This is what you're going to do. We are going to Stereo Boys Center, and we are going to ask for a chance because you want to study there." I remember I was kind of feeling demotivated because I didn't hit my target marks, and we went to the Stereo Boys Center. 1 + 1 led to 2, and I think then they insisted, even despite me mixing the cut mark with only 1 mark, they insisted that they're not going to have me. I think Kenya, I tend to think if my dad knew the right people, I will be in the same place. So I still got other offers. And luckily enough, my second option was Thika High School. And went to Thika High School. Thika High School, during my tenure, or let me say during my years in the school, we were known for a number of things. One, we were very good at mathematics. That is maths. Because even in our KCSE, we really did beat a record in maths. We were known for, there was something called math contests, and we would go to Mangu High School and other schools to participate in their maths contests. And trust you me, I had the likes of one called Edwin, nicknames. There are many nicknames we used to have. There's one called Chippies, and a number of them. We were men who were very good at mathematics. We really loved the subject. I think one reason why we loved the subject was the department of mathematics and the kind of teachers who were based there. I remember there was one who is still there, I think, called Rocky. We have another one who was very good at rugby. We used to say Ruji, and he was our rugby master. He was also very good at math. And there's something they did about us as men loving math. We even used to have jokes and say, you're not man enough if you don't score some certain grades in maths. And we were known in maths, that is one. In our year, we were also known in, we really did well in our basketball team. Yes. I remember we really did well in our basketball team. And also, there was a club known as Junior Achievers, under one madam known as Madam Kagundu. Madam Kagundu really did something towards instilling the business acumen in us, for us who did business studies, with one also, the maths department and the business department, I don't want to sound biased, but was one of the best departments we had in high school. And in Thika High School, we used to have a lot of consistent training. We were under one principal who was very strict, yet he really loved to give. He would pay fees for students. He would bring parents together and ask them to raise fees for students who had no fees. So we were hardly chased out of school because of one principal. We used to call him, there's a nickname we used to give him. We used to call him Bokono, but his name was Chief Principal Mwangi. Up to date, wherever he is, we really need to go visit him. He really did instill a culture in us. And I remember he used to say, "Boys, what time is it?" Especially when we were roaming around the streets, and everyone, how do I say it? Loved to hate. You know, the kind of relation where he's tough, you hate, but still love him at the same time. So we really enjoyed our principal back then. Sad enough, by the time we were completing high school, he shifted. Not he shifted really, but I think the ministry took him out from Thika High School during our tenure when we were turning in Form 4, and took him to Lenana School, where he became the principal to Lenana School. And he didn't stay in Lenana School for long. He was there for 2 years, then he became the principal of Alliance High School. That is 2 years after joining Lenana School. But I'm really glad that I really happened to study my 4 years under Chief Principal Mwangi. He was a gem. Someone also notable in our high school was the deputy principal, who was in charge of discipline. And we used to call him Mbode. I don't know where that name came from, and I don't remember why. But he used to take us for mathematics also. And he was really strict. Mysterious enough, he was, what's the right word to say? You wouldn't see him. I know it sounds weird when I say you wouldn't see him, because anytime you'll do mistakes, you will know he's not around, but yet he'd see you, and he'd be there. He'd probably behind the classroom, he'd probably next to you. So we used to have jokes. He was a mystery man. But later on, after life, we see how that was important to us, because Bother was one really strict disciplinarian, really strict disciplinarian, but also he molded us to be men. That is something I need to note, because during funkies, there's something we used to call funkies or functions, where other schools would come or we will go to other schools. Whenever you would misbehave, whenever a student from Thika High School would misbehave, and our deputy principal would see you, that is Mbode would see you, he wouldn't punish you there and then, but there's an eye he will give you. And then way later during prep time, he will come in class during prep time and he will call your name, probably 100 meters away before he even gets to your class, and be like, we had nicknames. Kosti, where are you? You know what you did? You know what you did today? Come out. And it was quite interesting, because there's a way that instilled the discipline and confidence in us, because he will notice you doing a mistake amidst the funkies with other schools, probably other girls' schools, but then he wouldn't punish you there and then. He will look at you, and that night, you will face the consequences. Our high school was quite interesting, bearing in mind that Thika High School was in the middle of town. We were just next to Mount Kenya University, which we are still next to Mount Kenya University. And we were in the middle of the city. It was a very interesting high school. Of course, there were many cases of students, a few students who will cross over the fence and go to the because we were in the town, so they will go to the centers in the town. Probably when Mount Kenya universities had parties, they will skive and go there. But they also faced consequences. I happen not to be. I happen to have a very smooth also high school. I happen not to be among them. I remember in high school, I joined high school when I was already tall enough, calm, and I had an accent, the Mombasa accent. So students or fellow students used to call me Mkosti back then. I had a good relation with them. I didn't face bullying quite much. Of course, my hate gave me an advantage. I didn't face the normal shitting students used to do quite much. In my form 2, after I just completed my form 1, in my form 2, we used to do elections, so I was given the seat of the environmental captain, that is in Thika High School, immediately in my form 2. Of course, I had a smooth starting being a captain in form 2, form 3, then form 4. That means I had a smooth high school levels. And the environment captain was, you are the one in charge for the whole environment of Thika High School, and it was quite a very big school. You'll be in charge to ensure students wash the areas where they need to wash and clean, the classrooms, the verandas, the gardens, the fields. So in the mornings, we used to wake up at 4 a.m. I don't know why we used to wake up at 4, but anyway, I think it was the Kenyan system then. So we used to wake up at 4, have breakfast by 4:20. You wonder why men prepare themselves in 10 minutes. It probably came from the high school levels. So we used to wake up at 4, have breakfast. Was it at 4:20, the first session of breakfast, and then 4:30, also the second session, because we used to exchange. And by then, you get to your classes for preps. But now during 4:30 to 6, it was now the cleaning time. So there are specific kind of classes will do cleanings. Probably this week, we used to have Form 1R, Form 1G, Form 1P. We had 4 rows, and the cleaning would interchange. So most of my time, I'd find myself outside during that period. When everyone else was in class, I used to be outside so as to ensure the cleaning is done, roam around to ensure the students are doing the cleaning well. It was a privilege, because I'll be the only one outside with the deputy principal. Of course, roaming around the streets of the high school, but also it came with a lot of discipline, because whenever your grades will go down, of course, the deputy will be on your neck, because they'd expect you to be reliable to yourself and to others. But Thika High School was a very good institution. One story I remember is how some students skived. By skiving, I mean going out the fence, and then they went to Mount Kenya University was having some students' annual party, and then they roamed around the town. So they entered in one joint where they were having fun and eating machomas, and drinks. And while they were doing that, they met our deputy with another teacher, another male teacher who was there that night. I think they knew that the students had Skyped, so they went to those locations. So our deputy literally, there was a dancing competition, and the students were also dancing in that place, and they won the competition. So people were giving out, I think, cash. You know how the excitement of the dancing. So our deputy went and gave out cash, but I think he was doing it so as the student can see, yes, I have seen you. We will meet tonight or we'll meet tomorrow. And for sure, the following morning, the story went around the school and we were laughing. How people would say, imagine you were there dancing, what. And then came to giving prizes. As people were giving out money, our deputy came in and gave him cash. See, we really had an interesting character. But the students, of course, were sent home punished. I think they came in with some rolls of fence. I'm not sure if some of them complained or because despite him being a funny man, he was also strict. And it was very interesting in Thika High School. Another experience I faced during Thika High School was a memorable experience was, of course, despite the normal dating, was it dating or letter writing things we used to have? Thika High School was a school, by then, the men there were very, how can I say, they really behaved themselves, and they really, in Kiswahili they say walikuwa wanajiona, walikuwa wanajifeel. So we really didn't have a sister school per se, but we had two schools that were identifying, or we were identifying with, and they were identifying with us as sister schools. So whenever we would go to functions, if school A was not there, then school B was there. We will go with the school that will come, and one of them was Chania Girls during our tenure. So Chania had a boys' school called Chania Boys' School, but whenever Chania Girls would come and Thika High School was in the area, of course, by then we were more prime. We were performing better. We will outdo the Chania Boys' School, and we will, of course, take over Chania Girls' School then. If not, most of us also were associating ourselves much more with we used to call it St. Mary's. I don't know if it's still there. Yes, the school is still there. It's a national school. Then St. Mary's and Thika High School had a thing because, of course, if we'd go to functions, those are the only schools we want to be associated with. The boys then knew they had a touch of class, I would say. The boys then, there's a way the principal will teach us to be men and tell us, no, don't go below a certain level. And it really instilled a culture in us because we really enjoyed those functions. Another, I was to tell you things I remember. There was an year that we had a strike. Yes, there was a wave of strikes during the areas, and I remember that strike very well. Funny enough, another captain who was the dining hall captain, I just met with him 2 weeks ago at my business premise, and we were catching up, and he was telling me about the strike the year then. So I remember the strike. It was something else. Though it didn't go that worse, it was kind of manageable. I remember the following morning, students walked out of the school, and that was the only strike I ever experienced back in high school. Anything else about Thika High School? Yes. During our tenure, the Junior Achievers Club Junior Achievers Club was a club that involved students who will come up with business ideas and then implement them. And the school will support, probably come up with products and sell, or services and sell. So there was a Junior Achievers Club. And I remember the Junior Achievers Club also, other schools had the same club. In our year, we really represented the school well. We also did something called the Great Debaters Contest in our year. I also happened to be, do I remember exactly the position I was, but I had a position in Junior Achievers Club and also at the Great Debaters Contest. I still see the video where we debated with a number of schools, like Jamuhuri High School, a number of schools that we debated with. I don't remember properly, but I saw the video on YouTube on that platform. And trust you me, the Great Debaters was under Julie Gishuru, a very renowned woman in media. She's really invested in the media. She was the owner of the Great Debaters Contest. And trust you me, it played a role in building the students to us now, the men and women we are in the society. I remember one lady known as Mariam also. Mariam did profoundly well in the Great Debaters during our year. To an extent, she was taken also to be a moderator once she completed, I think, is it a high school or a campus level? Mariam went back, and I always see her moderating the Great Debaters Contest. Nowadays, I think she's in media, but also another guy called Ombok. Ombok, we were in the same high school with, the same year we did the debate with. Also, Ombok was picked as a moderator. So Mariam and Ombok, I saw them running the program. I believe they're still running the Great Debaters program. And that program did a thing to making us to the men we are today. Also, the Junior Achievers Club, up to date, they get in touch. I see they still mold students. There's one guy called, who was our captain then, who is still in touch. I see him getting in touch with the Junior Achievers Club, and they move around the country and do great things. So those are the memorable parts I remember in high school. Is there anything I remember? My personal life in high school. Yes, of course, I had some few friends. There's one lady called. She used to act in a very renowned film in Citizen. She appeared. Was it Machachari? She appeared just. No, was it in Taidi High or Machachari? I don't remember. But her name was Lynette. A very good friend of mine from high school. I also remember I was in touch with the captain then of Mary Hill Girls School. I don't remember her name really well, but I know if I see the face, it still rings a bell. Which other friends that I noted in high school? Also, some friends were made from the Great Debaters Contest. We still do get in touch. It was an interesting experience. I really did enjoy my high school, though I also used to wish that the 4 years could run. I remember praying and telling God, "Oh God, if you can make this year run a little bit faster, so that I can get out of this system," because one way or the other, despite loving your high school, there were days you'd feel, and you just want to get out of there and be free. And I enjoyed my high school because my family also was playing really a big part in ensuring I was comfortable. Remember, I came from Mombasa, so my dad will not come after every visiting day. My parents hardly came to visit me in high school. I was a student who was hardly visited. But my cousins then, who were a little bit older, will come to visit me. One called Kafura will visit me. My grandmother will come and visit me in high school. My dad never made a visit. He just first day brought me to school. And I understand because the distance was quite a long distance. So it did not affect me much. I was okay with not being visited, actually. And the few visits will really excite me, which you see I still do remember. My uncles would also visit me, but random visits. And that was a very interesting place. But there are close friends I had in high school, one called Jesse Mushina. We are still friends up to date. He also runs a business up to date. Whenever Jesse will be visited, I also will feel like I am visited because the mom will come with food and extras, and we will share. And Jesse was a best of mine. He still is. He's the glue. Let me say the glue of our class right now. Because whenever one of ours is marrying or doing an important function, Jesse will reach out. I don't know if he reaches out to everyone, but for me, he reaches out and says, "Emmanuel, so and so is doing this. We need to go. So and so is doing this. We need to support." And we talk a lot. Now we are grown-ups, of course. By a lot, it could be once a month. That is still a lot for men. Because he's running a business, I'm running a business, and it can get to our head. But we really enjoyed. I also remember one called Gasha Maina. Gasha was a loyal one. Because even when I got to, which I'll come and share that story, when I got to campus, when I was doing politics, I did politics. Gasha was one of my loyal supporters, and I was very close to him. And he was the one in charge of my votes. The way you say the person who is in charge, your chief guy, Gasha was one of them, but this is because he was my classmate also in high school. I also remember Edwin. We used to call him Levy. He was our index one. Don't ask why we used to call him Levy, because he always looked sleepy and drunky. He'd sleep yet score the highest marks. I remember one day beating him in math, like the lesson mathematics. I had, was it 90? Was it a 90? A 94? And we used to do two papers, like paper 1 and then paper 2 for mathematics. And I remember one day beating, I still remember to that. And I topped that class in math. I wasn't that bad. Out of a number of 400 students, was it 400 or 300, 300 and something students? I was index 11. So you can imagine. But when I joined high school, my first examination, I was number 50 something. And remember, I was the one topping in Mombasa. So I was there feeling devastated. How am I number 50 something? I thought, what is this? And then I think I got serious in my academics as time went by. By the time I was getting to my Form 2 third term, I was always in between, let me say top 10, I'd be number 9, number 8, number 11, number 12. I wouldn't go lower than that. So I think that played a good role. And I used to pray so much that I get a good grade, which I thank God I did. I managed to score 78 points. That is an A minor with an A in mathematics, an A in business, a B plus in Kiswahili, and a B plus in CRE. I did physics. I did 3 sciences. That is chemistry, physics, biology. I had an A minor in biology. And with that grade, I managed to secure a position in campus. But first, I was called in Kenyatta University for a very, very different course. Very different course. They called me to go and do arts. No, was it arts? What was it? Something that relates with arts, but more of the physical education side, I think. Yeah, that's what they called me to do with my grade. Of course, I'll give you a story of how I later changed that. So I finished my high school. I went back to Mombasa for a few. I did clearing and forwarding at the Kenya port and under a certain company, and then I came back in high school to teach. So I taught my high school for some period before I joined my campus, and then I joined now Kenyatta University. So here I am, joined campus, finished my high school levels with an A minor grade, joined Kenyatta University, and that called me for a Bachelor of Arts. But it was more of physical education because our classes will range from playing at the court, that is basketball court, to swimming lessons. So other students will dress up nicely to go for classes. Now classes early in the morning, you'll wake up and you're told today it's a swimming lesson at 7. I was not a fan for that, let me be honest. And I was looking forward to change to a different course now, which I changed. I applied for economics and statistics, and also statistics and programming. After a period of, was it 2 months, the results came out and I managed to change my course. Then I changed my course to statistics and programming. My first year, study-wise, my results were not so good. Yes, I think I involved myself with a number of things. Finished my first year of campus, and the first year of campus is more of experiences, and it's more of people you meet and how you enjoy life, basically. So finished my first year of campus, then proceeded to my second year of campus. In my second year, I joined politics, that is the student leadership in campus. And I remember during my first year, towards the end of my first year, there's someone who was vying for presidency, and we had a number of people. We had Sydney Adoli, I think also, was it Sami? But also we had Were. And I remember supporting Sydney Adoli, and I would go to classes with him, lecture halls, and do speeches. And before he'd be introduced, he'd want me to speak before he gets introduced. Adoli is still a very good friend of mine to date. So I did that's how I got into politics towards my first year, final year. One thing, I knew I was getting into politics when I was in my high school, because there was one guy who was my former high schoolmate called David Buru, and he had vied. And I remember I was in high school and we knew about it. But me, I knew also joined the same thing. So my second year came in and I went for the position of congressman, School of Pure and Applied Sciences. Trust you me, it was not easy, but it was worth it. Because bearing in mind, not many people, of course, will know that you're a freshman or a fresher. They used to think I'm a third year or something. So I went for the position of congressman, School of Pure and Applied Sciences. And luckily enough, I won that seat. Though I was competing with people who were there, third years and fourth years who were vying for the same position. But here I came, managed to convince a number. And that's where the journey also began in student politics. That is in my second year. My results got a little bit dwindled, of course, after joining student leadership. We used to travel a lot, different campuses, conferences, and a number of things we used to involve ourselves into. When I did politics, one thing is I didn't tell any relative of mine, so they didn't know. Of course, parents would be like, "Don't do this because it will lead to this." They'll do it out of love. But sometimes it's good to just get out there and try. and just come out with results, because after winning, now they couldn't stop me. They wouldn't tell me do not do it. And they knew it after watching me in the news in one of the protests students were having, and we were trying to tell lecturers to get back to classes because it was a prolonged strike. Served well during that tenure. No, first time in power, looking good, being out there, kiongozi, everything. And then third year again, vied again for a position, which I went for the speaker. But first you had to be elected, which first you had to be elected by the students and then elected by the leaders again. So I went for, again, the school, pure and applied science, got re-elected again. This one was quite something, because my previous competitors came in and joined hands together, so they were supporting one person, and there I was looking for re-election. You know how hard it is seeking for re-election in Kenya, even just in campus politics. But thank God, I got re-elected again with a very big margin, and went for the speaker. The election period, I can't get deep into it, but it was very interesting. My team came up with new strategies. We did videos, how telling people I was ballot number 3. And we made a theme called Jitokeze ballot 3, Jitokeze ballot 3. So we did videos, we did creative. It was the third year campus was something ecstatic. It was the first time I was introducing a new mode of campaigning with my team, which other people later started copying, and familiarizing with it. How I wish I got into content then. Probably I would have amassed the following by then, and now we'll be somewhere else. But anyway, we thank God. So got elected as the position of the speaker and served. I remember I served the 14th Congress, that is of Kusa Parliament, and it was intriguing. Of course, there also it's when now life started shaping up, relationship-wise. I was the kind of person I used to keep off anything, which I still do up to date. I'll keep off my personal life. I would really, really keep it off. No one will know who I am with or what I am doing. But I will be very much intentional with anyone who was around me then. While in power, faced few basic challenges, one and there. Thank God for that. And it's in my third year when I was completing that I decided I was torn between going on with politics and stepping off. My results were a little dwindling, and I decided I'd already formed a coalition with some members of the team, as I had stated, so as to go for the presidency. And I had a very superb team, people like Jamal, part of my campaign teammate. I had a very superb team. I had Daisy Gishovi, I had likes of, people who served with Marianne, I had likes of very interesting people. By then I was getting wisdom and advice from people who had gone ahead of us, Doreen, the great Mike Kebasu, very close friends, Wakili, Nelson. Those are people I served with at the same Congress. Juan Lewis, Joshua, Yika. It was an interesting period in my life then. And we served, completed. So I was planning to go for the presidency of the campus. I was also torn between doing, mind you, I had done a very serious function called the Kusa Awards. And just for the first time, I managed to bring almost the whole of Nairobi leadership, except the governor, because we had Sakaja Johnson. By then he was a senator. We had the current woman rep. Also, she was there. Of course, the governor didn't turn up. But it was a very interesting thing that we did. The likes of Kina Nice Mudwani, people who served with. And I opted now to get into business in my 4th year. One thing, getting to business in my 4th year was not easy. As I was working on my grades, I decided now I venture into business. And when I started, I did not start as NUELA'S closet. Though I knew about NUELA'S, because even my friends can bear me witness, my classmates, Kina Jesse, back in high school, they knew that we would open a company known as the NUELA'S Group. It is something I used to talk about it and say how we'll venture into, But initially, the NUELA'S Group was first focused into farming. That is NUELA'S Groceries. So when I got into business, I started in a partnership. And trust you me, there is a lot to learn, and there's a lot I learned. That's why I say sometimes in business, of course, you can learn from other people or listen. But the truth is, get in the mud, get into it. You will pick your lessons. And lessons are very peculiar and unique in regards to the persona, because everyone's journey in business is different. So I started with partnerships. And I was in my 4th year. So I had to balance class and business. And the partner I was with then, I thank God for everything I've faced in my life. Everyone who has been close to me, every friendship or relationship I've been in one way or the other, I really thank God. Because in one way or the other, we used to water each other. Some ended because seasons have to end. Some came up because new seasons have to begin. And here I was in a partnership. And the first business I got into was in the fashion business. From the history, I've told you how I used to love suits and dress uniquely. So I got in the fashion business and I opened L&E, and it was initially called L&E Closets. And the L represented my partner then, and the E was me, now Emmanuel Closet, so L&E Closets. And that's how I began. But the person I was with was a partner. He was way ahead of me in age. He had a family, a young family. He was married. Remember, I was a student, a 4th-year student. So balancing between being here, a new startup, and being in school was quite hectic. But 1 + 1 = 2, things happened and the partnership ended. Why? There was a lot of, and these are lessons people need to pick before you get into a partnership. Nowadays, people tell me they're doing partnerships, I just listen to them. I don't say partnerships, but partnerships are good. There are those that have worked very well. But also, you need to observe some few habits and pick something before you decide the kind of person you want to partner with. So I got into partnership and L&D Closets began. And I was still in campus. So this person had some bits of lying, here and there, some stories. The accounts will not balance, the books wouldn't work out. And I was okay, because for me, I was thinking, I need to help this person come afloat. Probably he had some issues. So I need to help him come afloat money-wise and every other thing so that we can do business together. So if this is lacking, I'll be like, that's okay, we can ignore. So let's do this. Let's focus on the goal. Let's focus on building. Until I realized it was a trend. And this was something I will not get myself out of if I kept doing it. And one day I just told him, you know what? I think doing a partnership with you was one of my mistakes in life, which I am willing to go with. And then that icked him. I told him, how do you say that? And that's how he became aggravated. And he said, actually, I'm stepping out. I'm leaving. And it's okay. I told him, it's okay. It's well. Proceed. Live. I trust you, me by then. I was not sure with what I was doing. Why? This person had given me a mentality that being older than me, he knew the business more and he had the clientele. Another lesson you need to pick is believe in yourself. People tend to think they are that important. We are all important, yes, but also you. When you come and think about it deeply, you're not that important. If someone focuses on themselves, they can do without you and they can grow if they want to grow. That is so true. Never take yourself of too much importance in someone's life. Do your part and live. Just do your part and proceed. Just do your part and proceed. And the partnership ended. And for a moment, I faced rocky waters. Very rocky waters. But I compared the peace that I had after the partnership ending and the problems that I faced, I told myself the peace was worth it. Because I didn't know now. Here I am. I want to close shop. I'm left with one thing. NUELA'S has been here ever since. I've not changed locations. So this is the same place where I started with the partnership. Same room, same house number, same office number. And here I was thinking of shutting down. And the year was it in 2018 or it was 2019 starting now. And I'm there thinking I need to shut down this business. Why? My partner has left. He's the one who had all the experiences. The experience in business. He used to say, he's coming in with skill, he's coming in with what? And here I am, a young man from campus into business alone. So what do you do? I actually thought of turning this place into a studio. That is one thing my close friends know. I know of a friend of mine who used to do recording, the sound recording, and he'd make music, and he was very good at that. So I thought of approaching him. In a way, I told him, but he's called Victor. I told Victor, why don't you do business as you come and turn it into a studio? But something in me was like, nope,
We are not doing that. I went, had a discussion with Victor, and I remember he gave me some cash, and he told me, actually, how much was it? I think it was 10,000. Yeah, he told me, look, have this. You go proceed. What did I do with it? I went and made receipts books. Life is just funny when you look at it backwards. I had all reasons to close the business. I had all reasons. But here he was, he told me, take this amount, you go do what you need to do. And this is what I did. I had to remake my receipt books because the person who went, he went with his receipt books. So I made my receipt books. I had to rebrand the name. So I know it. That is where now the name shifted from L&D Closets to NUELA'S Closets. But you remember I've been talking about NUELA'S ever since I was in high school. So I think that is the time I shifted the name from L&D to NUELA'S Closets. And that's how I ventured into the business. So into the business, I had one friend who came in, very good friend, did impeccable work. We grew together. I even used to wonder and tell him what used to keep you here when I was out for classes. Because remember, when I was out for classes was to complete to graduate, because I had a retake or so. But we used to be here. Clients were very few. We would actually leave to pay rent. Have you heard the saying where you work for rent? You work so as you pay. You work so as you pay your rent. I think that was the line. That's what we used to do. And 1+1, we were still there. We will give our best, ensure the outfits were done on time. The outfits were done very well. Have good client relation, handle our clients well. And the clientele began to grow, and the brand began to grow. The NUELA'S Closets now started doing big, big orders. I will dress companies. I will dress probably some tender from a company, one or two, weddings, serious personnel. And trust you me, whatever you're doing in life, keep doing. There's always someone who is watching. There's always someone who is watching. You just keep doing. Perfect your art, become very good at it. And do it from a heart. Be honest and true to self. Just do it with all honesty and true to self. There are times I know you will think, do I do this? Do I shift to this? Do I change to this? This is not giving. But trust you me, it takes time to build. It is in this generation where we believe in building quick and fast. Everyone wants to wake up and have this or that. But the truth is this. There are things that do not change. Example, everything takes time. You will need time to build your brand. You will need time for people to believe in you, for people to invest in you. And one led to another. We did business. Then the COVID thing came. Remember the COVID thing came? Yes, then the COVID thing came. COVID came. Wahala. So here is COVID. Mm-hmm. You've been running a business before COVID, post COVID. You're not that old. By old, I mean the business had not that matured fully, but at least you are like 2 years into it before. Yes, I think it was roughly 2 years into it. I know when you were just stabilizing and things were peaking and the brand was growing, then COVID came. Now, what do? These are calamities that face the world. You didn't know it will come. You trust me. By then, I had told myself, Emmanuel, you're very young. People have lost millions and have gotten back on their feet again and have made it again. And I was telling myself, this goes well and good, God's plan. If it remains, well and good, God's plan. But of course, I will sit down. I remember during the COVID time, wow, I had a very good team, by the way, back then. Very good team. I like giving credit to what I do. I had a very good team, despite things happening and everyone probably had to go their way, or probably because you had members of staff, some you had to let them go. That is one thing in business. There are staffs you will grow with. Try as much as possible to maintain your staff and hold them well. But if life happens and they proceed, trust you me, you too need to grow, because there are different levels and seasons that require different kind of view with different kind of people. So COVID thing came. And I remember I was still with my staff, will come in, make jokes, until I got to a level and told them, guys, we need to go home now. So we just need to part and go home because the shutdowns were coming in, and every other thing was coming in. So I used to come here alone. I remember there were no cars by then. Our cars were there, you just had to sit. Public transport, you had to sit distances. So I used to also have a bicycle. So I used to cycle all the way from my place to here because I used to use that moment to think and probably just refresh. And it was clear then people were staying in house. So cycling was fun. So I didn't. I'm the kind of people who didn't go home. Where are you going to? So COVID is here. Your parents are back home. You're alone in the city. Yeah, we are the few who survived in the city. The city was a ghost town. We really enjoyed the city. Really enjoyed the city back then. So COVID came, and I used to cycle all the way here. I would open the business. I would sit up here by myself, and I will tell myself. I remember there's a post I did. Yeah, internet. I mean, social media is a very good thing because now you can store your memories. I remember there's a post I did. Funny enough, when I go through my posts on social medias, there's a thought that comes in. I remember the day like yesterday when I was writing that post. You know the way you go through your social media post and then but this I did it yesterday. Though Facebook tells you 7 years ago, like no, it was not 7 years. This was yesterday. So there's a post I did. I remember I was saying how the dreams people had, or the dream in running a business, that I'm here this time, this one has won, that COVID has beat me, that COVID has won. I remember writing a post like that. I think I was just trying to be creative. But anyway, there's power in words. But I didn't allow it to sink into me. Part of the strategies I used, and I thank God for. Again, God, thank you. Why? Because the kind of people He brought close. He knows how to bring the right people at the right time. Of course, you should also focus being the right person to someone else, but He knows how to bring the right people at the right time. So COVID came. And these are the strategies I implied. I talked to the one who owns the premises. So I had to talk to my landlords and landladies. Here, I remember talking to the one who owns the premise, and I called her. Did I call or text? I think I called her and we discussed, and I told her, Mom, this is happening, this is this. So I went to, or out of respect, I used to call her that. So I went to the main offices. Of course, the strategies are, first of all, talking to the place where you own the businesses and asking them to probably give you a timeline so as you can pay the rent. They can see how business was. And I remember I went to her, and then this is what she told me. Emmanuel, what do you want to pay? Imagine where you own a business premise and the owner of the business asks you, what do you want to pay during this COVID period? Because I understand the business is down. We did the discussion. She told me, put it down on paper and then go sign. I put that down on paper. I said, this is the plan. We'll pay this way, then pay this way. Trust me, as I was saying I will pay that way, I had no idea where the money was coming. I didn't know. But I did. So she gave me, some leniency on how to pay. She reduced a bit. You can pay this amount, and then this amount. This month don't pay full. The next one pay 3/4. There were plans. People were helping each other on how to come up so as you don't close business. We did masks. There's the business of masks. We will do uncut masks. Produce large scale masks for the hospital thing. Made money of that. And also now when the COVID thing came, now guys were going towards the online thing. Online acumen, trying to make money from online, trying to learn a few concepts about online. And we thank God for friends. I used to have a number of friends. So one led to one, did number of few things. Any money I will get into, I was very, very categorical on any shilling I got to, and I took it to the right place. Sometimes as a businessman, let's be honest, you sit down and realize there are things you had no answers to. When you sit down and look back, you also cannot explain how, after COVID then, what sustained you. But I think it's the little steps we do day by day. So after COVID came, did a number of interviews with TV stations, of course, some renowned TV stations. The TV stations now, they will ask you about, well, how was business post-COVID, things like that. And in a way, it will also help you grow your clientele because more people will know you. You will do this or that. More people knowing you online meant more business. We did business. And until some years in 2023, I think just last year, it's when business really picked well, if you're being honest, after COVID. Because the first year, it was 50-50, 2023 business picked well. And some few personal changes in life happened. You're a young man, you're in the field, talking business, your mind is straight, dating lives and every other thing, but you try to maintain course. That's a story of another day, probably how you need to maintain your mental energies to remain focused regardless. Let no one tell you that we sound strong and straightforward, but there are personal challenges everyone faces. How you balance that with the business side is what determines how different you will be. Also, life is very spiritual. People don't want to accept that, but it's a very key thing in becoming who you are supposed to be or living the life you're ordained to live if you understand that you balance your spirituality, physical, financial, and everything around you, emotional, for you to become a businessman. Challenges I've met ever since COVID now. Members of staff, again, hiring and firing is a very normal thing. No one prepares us as businessmen for hiring and firing. So I had this team, things happened, that those we had to fire, and those we had to rehire. Sometimes when you fire, you feel like, wow, will you still do it? Is it still possible? But then God reminds you that nope, it's not by your will or your strength that you do what you do. So you keep at it, change plans, restructure plans. And that is when, after hiring, refiring, the problem of getting the right staff and getting the right designers who know what they do, it led to the birth of NUELA'S. It's actually registered as NUELA'S Fashion and Design Training Institute. That is the official registration. But then that's when the birth of NUELA'S Fashion School came up. Because of course, you're a businessman. You face a challenge, you think about it, then how do you bring a solution? I thought, why do I as I run the fashion house, I also train other people? Why? This way, it becomes an ecosystem that balances themselves. Other than hiring, then you have to train people out for them to do outfits how you like them done, with the precision you like them to be done. So you hire, fire, stay for a while again, hire, fire. I thought, why don't I just train again? My own. So that's led to the birth of the NUELA'S Fashion School. And here we are. 2023, we started NUELA'S Fashion School with a number of students. It was mainly, how do we call it in business? Like some projects where just, we call it a pilot program. So in 2023 is when NUELA'S Fashion School began. But for the whole year, it was a pilot program. So we had students, but it was a pilot program to see how do we structure it? Is it doable? Is it workable? And the whole year, we had a number of students. I had students from as far as Botswana. I still have students from Botswana to date who were coming to do their masters in Kenyatta University, and they wanted to learn an extra skill. And that's how they say they wanted to learn fashion or probably more about tailoring. Some are doing even serious degrees like masters in statistics, masters in occupational health, but they wanted an extra skill. And it was intriguing finding these students because these are way older people than I, but they will tell me still, despite having this degree and doing this masters, these are older people who have families and telling me, I want to learn this skill because in life you never know. And that motivated me. So the whole of 2023, I was thinking how I would restructure at the school and bring it up. So we had students the whole of last year, took them through the program. We saw how someone will come in, knows nothing about fashion, and yet they will manage to stitch and do good outfits and dress themselves. And there was a level of satisfaction it came with. And now 2024, we officially opened NUELA'S Fashion School to the public. If you're taking in public intakes of anyone who is interested in fashion and design, we want to train them. But that does not mean that NUELA'S Closet is shut down. No. NUELA'S Closet is actually growing bigger and better. Why? We are now venturing into an e-commerce platform. Everything is set. The domains are up. It will be running soon. That is www.nuelascloset.com. That's an e-commerce platform where we are also venturing into sportswear. We did a pilot program last year of the sportswear. I told you when I started my introduction, I'm a golfer. I also play tennis, lawn tennis. So we did sample view and we saw that can work. So this year, NUELA'S Closet, part of the growth is it's going to have an e-commerce platform where you'll have first thrift, the kind of thrift wares. Yes. You'll have a column of sports wares. Yes. We'll also have a column. I also do shoes. Yes. And we are bringing in tailoring in an e-commerce platform, something you've never faced before. Do you know of an online tailor? So that's what you're bringing in, an e-commerce platform where we can get in touch with us on the platform, look at the kind of fabrics on the platform, kind of suits, how the suits appear on the platform. Those willing to get ready-made, they will find them on the platform. Those who want to do consultation and stylist consultations will do them on the platform. That is the NUELA'S Closet platform. That is the e-commerce platform. But also, hand in hand, NUELA'S Fashion School will be running alongside. So we want to train young designers, new tailors, instill different cultures, and change the old culture of tailors and mentality that people had towards tailors. Because this is not only coming to solve us a problem for me as a director in NUELA'S Closet, because I need new tailors on hiring and firing, but it's also bringing a solution to the many from clients who are first tailors who are liars. And we are trying to change their perspective. So you just don't come and learn the art of tailoring and fashion. We also are here to work on your mental and change the attitude and also teach you the business acumen. And that's why we have NUELA'S Fashion School. So intake has been ongoing. We're receiving positive feedbacks from outside there. Guys are booking in for March. Others are prepping in, asking for their nephews, nieces, sisters. Because one thing, no matter how much education it has become expensive in this country, a skill is much more vital. I am an example. I did statistics and programming, but I'm here. It's a skill, a different skill that is enabling me to be where I am today. So that is what we want to instill in these people. That is what we want to give to them. But also NUELA'S Closet, as I have stated, has its own plans in the growth game this year. And NUELA'S Fashion School also has its own plans in the growth game this year. This year, we're targeting to finish the year with 50 students. Be part of these 50 students. We're here to bring new developments in the fashion industry, together with those who have been in the game, and see how best we change this. So right now, here I am, a director at the NUELA'S group that hosts NUELA'S Closet and NUELA'S Fashion School. Of course, this year, there are many other things I'd like to venture into. Personal issues despite the business, like playing more tennis and playing more golf. And what else? Probably getting back into this kind of life. They're saying it's time we do. I don't know. God knows more about that. But that's where we are currently, and that is my story up to date. I probably 2020 or 2035 I'll be like, there will be as a politician elected in a certain position. NUELA'S group is bigger. Also, we are looking forward to venture into NUELA'S groceries. We've always wanted to venture into NUELA'S groceries. We will venture into it. Sometime 2 years ago, we started, then something happened. But 2035, I'll be looking at this and like, look at the young guy. Here he is now. A small version, 2035. A version of me, deeply rooted in God. Probably family, into business and elected. Yes, elected into city. You will elect me. What else by then? Making bigger strides and thanking God for that, and seeing young designers having gone through the school and grown and started their own ventures. Yes, and a farmer, a very, very serious farmer. Last but not least, this story does not end just like that. I'd like to welcome you to be part of the next page of this story, either as a client at NUELA'S Closet, as a student at NUELA'S Fashion School, as a client at NUELA'S Groceries, or as a voter, as a future member of elected parliament I'm looking forward to, as an investor, as friends, as members of staff, future members of staff, as future investors, as friends, as clientele, just name it. You need to be part of this next page of this story. You need to be part of this next page of this story. Welcome to NUELA'S. Karibu NUELA'S. You can find us online on social media pages at NUELA'S Closet on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, NUELA'S Closet, at X. Oh, we used to call it Twitter. NUELA'S Closet. We are located along Thika Road, just at the highway. The building hosting Maguna's Supermarket, second floor. Office DB36 and Office DB37. Oh, sorry. For future purposes, We'll also be located somewhere in town, somewhere CBD. Yes, NUELA'S groceries will be coming in your nearest areas in Eldoret, in Kiambu. Sorry, this is future locations, Vision 2035. Oh, let me come back to the current one. They're located at Kahawa and Dani, the building hosting Maguna Supermarket. Second floor, office DB36 and office DB37. Karibu NUELA'S Closet and NUELA'S Fashion School. Tupatane NUELA'S.